guys, Preacher 357 here, out here on the range, and I've got today a Rock Island Armory. I believe this is the first time I've had a Rock Island on the channel, and this gun here is a double stack 10mm 1911. Now, Rock Island Armory is known for making a lot of 1911s. In fact, they make more 1911s, I believe, than any other company out there. It's kind of their bread and butter. It's kind of their main thing, though they do make a few other things as well. And this is, I'm about to look it up. I can't even remember what this name of this gun is. Let's see, it's the Rock Ultra FS High Cap. Rock Ultra FS High Cap. And it is a double stack, and it's got this mag well also on there. That's beveled, you know, for easy mag insertions. In 10mm, and I've actually borrowed this gun from my cousin, and he's had it for a little while now, and I've shot it a few times over the last couple of years or so. So I'm not unfamiliar with the gun. I've shot it several times. This is a bushingless design, so it does not have the bushing in the front like a standard 1911. So there are a few little differences here, and just to show you, I want to compare it to a regular 1911. Here is my Springfield Garrison that I really like, and when I put them side by side here, you'll see they're the same length. You know, the grips are the same except for the mag well, but the width, there's where your difference is. You see how wide the grip is on the FS Ultra High Cap here. And it's definitely a handful in your hand. It feels different. Comparing it to like a Glock 20 here, which is the big Glock, you can see slide length, grip length, everything is almost the same on these guns, except for the width of the slide. This has a skinny slide like a 1911, but it's got this big fat grip. You know, much like a Glock, although obviously the Glock is made of polymer and this is a metal frame. So it's kind of a mixture, and that's kind of how my feelings are about this gun too. They're a mixture. I'm not sure how I feel about it sometimes. In some ways it's kind of cool. You know, this, well, often you'll hear these referred to as a 2011 design, meaning it's like a double stack 1911. A lot of times those are called 2011s. But I don't know that I like it, and my cousin kind of feels the same way. He's thinking about trading in on a 10mm 1911 that's a single stack, and you know, it's just not balanced to me in the same way that a regular 1911 is. I mean, you can feel how heavy it is at the bottom, and then the slide just doesn't feel balanced with it. And it's the same way, you know, with the Glock. The Glock feels somewhat balanced, big at the bottom, big at the top, but you know, it feels right in the hand. But the Rock Ultra here, something just doesn't feel right about it to me. You know, people who shoot a lot of 2011s, some people love them and it feels just right to them, but it just doesn't feel right to me. And you know, that's just a personal preference. That's nothing against the gun, it's just the design of the gun. And you know, if you like that, that's great. It's just not something that I find all that appealing, to be perfectly honest. I just don't really need a high capacity 1911, I don't guess. I mean, they're not generally defensive guns for me. That's not generally what I carry. Though I do on occasions have that Colt CCO that I do carry sometimes. It's not often though. But you know, that's kind of my feelings about it. It just doesn't feel right in the hand. But that's just a personal preference, and if you feel differently, that's great. Just pick one up in the store, get a feel for it, you know, and if it feels good to you, then that's great. But there's just something odd about it to me, and it doesn't feel balanced when I shoot it. I don't feel right. You know, when you shooting is about feel, you know, and there just feels like there's something wrong when I'm shooting it, and I think it throws me off a little bit, and I have a little bit of trouble with it. Compared to what you would expect with a 1911 with a pretty decent single action trigger. You know, So, you know, I think Rock Island did a good job with this gun. I mean, it's not a fancy finish on it, but you don't expect that on a Rock Island. But it seems to be fairly well made, and it has been pretty reliable. You know, I can't tell you that it's never had a malfunction, but I think in the last times I've shot it, I don't think we've had a malfunction with it. So anyway, I'm going to get out here and do a little bit of shooting, and then give you some more opinions of it. Like I said, you know, I've shot it before, so there's nothing new here. This isn't a out of the box kind of thing. It seems to be shooting just a little bit low. So I'm going to try to adjust the sights just a little bit to help me with that before we get started. All right, guys, I've made what adjustments I can. I can't hardly get the elevation to change much, so I'm hoping maybe I got it adjusted a little bit at least. I'm going to be shooting this Cellier and below, or Sellers and Bellet, as we say in the South. This fancy ammo with the French name from the Czech Republic. And I think I've only got one magazine for this gun. I don't know if it came with two and I just only have one, or if it only came with one. I'll have to look that up online and see what they come with. But I only have the one, so I'm going to have to do a lot of reloading here. Of course, with it being a higher capacity gun, you know, maybe that won't be such a big deal. One thing about it, these magazines, they look like Metgar magazines. It says made in Italy. It doesn't say Metgar on it, but it looks like a Metgar magazine. And it also says 40 Smith & Wesson on it. So these are 40 Smith & Wesson magazines. But of course, 40 and 10 millimeter are the same diameter. You know, the 10 millimeter is the parent case for the 40. So apparently they're still long enough, large enough to handle the 10 millimeter, even though apparently this was a 40 Smith & Wesson magazine. So let's just get started doing a little bit of shooting and see if maybe I can hit something a little bit with this. It's a really heavy gun. I mean, it's a heavy gun. 1911s are heavy anyway, and then you double stack it like this with all that ammunition in, and it feels hefty in the hand. It really does. One other thing about this, and I just did it, the safety is oversized on this, which some people who run these like to thumb over, but this safety is so large, it's not even comfortable for me to thumb over the safety, and it's not very positive. It's very easy to engage, so a lot of times when I'm shooting it, I'll accidentally engage the safety on it, because I really don't want to ride over the top of it because it's not comfortable. But if I go underneath it, I tend to hit it and knock it on, and that's an annoyance to me. I wish it was a little stronger detent there that held it in place, because it's just a little too easy to hit it. All right, let's see if I can hit anything here. All right. I don't know where I'm going. There we go. Yeah, I can't tell what I'm doing. Yeah, that was just... There we go. I nicked him that time. Well, I just put the safety on. And just try to thumb it over even though it's not comfortable. Not too bad. Not too bad. I adjusted the windage just a little bit, and I think I adjusted a little too much. So I'm going to put it back the other direction just a hair. Put it back just a hair and see if that helps a little bit. While we load up another magazine of this 180 grain 10 millimeter, not particularly hot 10 millimeter. And that's what you find with a lot of 10 millimeter. When you buy practice ammo, it's not a lot hotter than just 40 Smith & Wesson is. There's not a whole lot of difference. And I don't understand why they download it so much, but I'm sure they have their reasons. All right, let's do a little more shooting here. Go out to 35 and see if we can hit out there. And the cowboy here. Hitting him low. There we go. Yeah, I need a little bit more elevation adjustment, but I just couldn't get that screw to turn. Go out to 35. Well, not too bad. Not too bad at all. It's a good shooting gun. I'll give it that. It just feels odd in the hand to me. It's probably just from shooting standard 1911 that I've developed a preference. But it is a pretty good shooting gun. I mean, it handles that recoil of the 10mm really well. I mean, there's no issue with that at all. It's not a gun that's just beats you up by any means. Of course, it weighs, I'm going to guess, 40 something ounces. Most 1911s I think are about 38, 39 ounces in the single stack version, so I'm going to say this one's probably 42 or 43. I guess I need to look that up. Maybe I'll look that up and post that on the screen for you. But you can feel the heft. You can tell you got something in your hand here. All right, I'm going to go out here to 80 yards first, and then we'll try the one at 100. Maybe we can hit something out here with this. All right. Dancing around it. Right in front of it. Still in front of it. We can bring her up a little bit. Yeah, I engage the safety. Thumb over a little bit. Did I hit it? I may have hit the chain. I didn't hear a ping. So I may have hit the chain on it. So close. A little high that time. Still a little high, I think. Can't tell where I'm going. Just can't find it. I think I bounced that one. I think that's what happened in the last video too. I think I bounced one in. Just can't seem to find the elevation. All around it. All around it. Yeah, 12-inch plate at 80 yards is not an easy thing to hit. With a gun that's not just 100% on for you. And that you feel really confident with. And even though I've shot this one before, it's not like I shoot it all the time. In fact, these days there's hardly any one gun that I do shoot all the time. Most of my shooting I do for these videos, and then I move on to another gun. So there's no one gun that really gets a lot of my attention anymore. Which is kind of sad. There's a lot of guns I'd like to spend more time with, and there's just not enough time in the week to get it all done. But all right, let's go over here to 100. Surely I can hit this thing. There's one. There's another one. There's another one. Yeah. Well, I don't know where that one went. Picked up some dirt. There we go. A little low there. My elevation's still a little off, so I'm having to adjust for that, but there we go on the last round. 10mm is one of those cartridges that has enough power that you can aim fairly on at 100 yards and still hit. There's not that much drop. You know, when you try to shoot with like 38 special or even 9mm to a certain degree, you get some drop. 38 special especially. But 10mm, even though this is not particularly hot, still has pretty good velocity to it. So, you know, I can't complain about that. Hitting a plate at 80 yards, even a large, at 100 yards, even a large plate like that one. I really wish I could hit that one at 80 though. I'd feel a whole lot better if I could, so I'm gonna have to lob just a little more over there. Mostly because I like wasting all this expensive ammunition. One thing about 10mm, it is more expensive than 9. I think this was about $30 a box, whereas 9 you can get for, 18 to 20 now. Wish it was as cheap as it was just a few years ago, but anyway, try this one at 80 again. I think I lobbed another one in, bounced it in. I just cannot seem to get the range. Now that was low. I think I may actually hit it that time. That may not have been a bounce. After I look at the video, I may be wrong. Let's just go over here and finish off on the cowboy. And played it 35. Yeah. I said to play it 35. There we go. Dance for me. Dance for me out there. Yeah. Hits with some authority. Well, guys, I don't know what else to say about it. I think you can see it fed absolutely everything, and it's fairly accurate. Be even more accurate if I get that elevation tuned up a little bit, get a little bit more on, but you can't complain about that from Rock Island Armory, which is, a budget 1911, kind of a no frills, even though this one has, the magwell on it, and a pretty good looking gun. But I can't complain about that. The trigger could be better. It's not the best trigger I've ever felt on a 1911, but it's not horrible either. You can do some work with it. So this may be something you're interested in checking out. Maybe you like that double stack grip with the single stack slide. I don't know. Still feels odd to me. Still not happy about that weak detent on the safety, because that's a real problem for me, engaging that, and it's just not comfortable for me to thumb over. So anyway, I have to find something to complain about, I guess, right? I can't just love something 100%. But that's, I guess, a minor thing, I guess, depending on how you shoot your guns and what have you. And it's probably something that could be remedied with a stronger spring or something, but there she is, the Rock Ultra FS high capacity. Isn't that what it's called? Big name, but fairly nice gun. M1911 A2FS TAC 2 is what it says on the side. All kinds of names for this gun, but whatever you call it, seems to be a pretty decent gun. And you hear that a lot about the Rock Islands. They may not be the most beautiful 1911s out there. They may not have the nicest finishes, but they work. And this one works. It feeds the rounds. It shoots accurately, and that's what's most important. So, guys, I appreciate you coming out. Take a look at the description in the video. There'll be a place there to join the GOA, the Gun Owners of America, where you can get in the fight on the national level as well as the state level, or you can join the TFA, the Tennessee Firearms Association, if you live in this great state of Tennessee like I do, and get in the fight, as we're now having to fight these red flag laws that our governor, though supposedly a conservative and a believer in gun rights, is now pushing. Very disappointed in that, but we're having to fight that now. So if you're a resident of the state of Tennessee, you can join up with the TFA as well, and those links are in the description. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you coming out. God bless you. Y'all take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.